Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing a very important topic for statistics, that is covariance and correlation. Let us start with covariance. Covariance is a parameter that tells us about the direction of the relationship between two variables. Suppose I have two variables x and y. I need to know if I increase the value of x, what will be the effect on the value of y? Will the value of y increase on increasing the value of x, or will it decrease, or will it have no change? So to get such information, we can take help of covariance. Let us consider an example. Suppose I have a data set containing heights and weights of different people. To get the insight about if on increasing the height, what is the effect on weight, we take help of covariance. The covariance between two variables x and y can be given using following formula. In this formula, xi represents each data point of the feature x. Similarly, yi represents each data point of the feature y. X bar is the mean of feature x, whereas y bar is the mean of feature y. The numerator is divided by n minus 1 in the case of samples, whereas it's divided by capital N, or the number of values in the population, in case of population. Also, one thing we need to keep in mind is that covariance can take any value, that is all the values between minus infinity to plus infinity. Now let us see the different types of covariance that we can get. Suppose if on increasing the value of x, the value of y is also increasing, as it's significant from this graph, right? As x is increasing, y is also increasing. Hence, the value of covariance will be positive in this case, and it's called positive covariance. So, a positive covariance denotes a direct relationship between the two variables. Now, let us consider if on increasing the value of x, the value of y decreases. In this case, I get a negative value for covariance, and it's called negative covariance, which indicates an inverse relationship between the two variables. On the other hand, if I see the following scatter plot, there is no specific relationship between x and y that I can get from this plot. So in this case, the value of covariance will be 0. So the 0 covariance means that the two variables don't vary together, or there is no relationship between them. Now let us see correlation. Correlation is a measure that determines the degree to which two or more random variables move in a sequence. Hence, correlation not only shows the type of the relation, but also shows how strong the relationship is. Correlation can be calculated using following formula. So it's simply covariance of x and y divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. An important point to note about correlation is that its value varies between the range of -1 to +1. So correlation can take any value between -1 and +1. Now let us see the different types of correlation that we can get. So using the scatter plot, interpretation of correlation is similar to that of covariance. So using the first plot, if this my x-axis and this is the y-axis. So using the first graph, I can clearly see that as I increase the value of x, the value of y also increase. And this is a very perfect trend as the points are falling in a straight line. So in this case, I say that my correlation is a perfect positive correlation, and the value of correlation will be 1. Now in the second plot, again I can say that as the value of x is increasing, y also increases. Hence, it will be a positive correlation. Again, in this plot, the points are related very close to a straight line, but not as perfectly as it was in the previous case. So we can say that it's a high positive correlation It can hold any value between 0.7 to 0.9. In the next plot, again, as I'm increasing the value of x, the value of y is also increasing, but the points are way more dispersed in this case. So I will get a low positive correlation. It can hold any value less than 0.7. Again, in the next graph, if I'm increasing the value of x, the value of y is decreasing. So this is the case of negative correlation. And since all the points lie in a straight line, I call this as a perfect negative correlation, and the value for this is -1. Again, we have similar graphs for high negative correlation and low negative correlation. An important point to note is that for perfect positive correlation, the value is 1, whereas for perfect negative correlation, the value is -1. And also, correlation can take any value between -1 to +1. Till now, we have seen both covariance and correlation. Now let us see what is the difference between them. The first difference between covariance and correlation is that covariance tells us only about the direction of relationship, whereas correlation tells us about the direction of relationship as well as the degree of relationship. That is how strong or weak the relationship is. The next difference is the values of covariance are not standard. Let us consider an example. Suppose the covariance between two variables x and y is 100. This covariance denotes that it is a strong relationship. On the other hand, for another two variables a and b, the value of covariance 100 can denote that it is a weak relationship between these two variables. So we don't have any standard value for covariance. Whereas in the case of correlation, the values are standardized. That is, if we say that the correlation between two variables is +1, then I can surely say that the two variables has a perfect positive correlation. So that's another difference between covariance and correlation. Another difference is that covariance can take any value between -infinity to +infinity, whereas for correlation the values can lie only in the range of +1 to -1. Hence, we can conclude that covariance is great for defining the type of the relationship, but it is terrible for interpreting the magnitude. Hence, we can use correlation to get insights about both the direction of relationship as well as the degree of correlationship. So that was all about covariance and correlation. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.